Hello there viewers and welcome to another episode of Green Echoes. My name is Nicholas J. Karnami and I welcome you to this show. Green Echoes is an initiative by DD Meghalaya to highlight the crucial environmental issues that impact our lives. Its main objective is to emphasize on our responsibility towards safeguarding the environment and showcasing government policies, local initiatives and individual efforts towards a healthier planet. Each week, through insightful discussion and engaging presentation, Green Echoes aims at showcasing pressing environmental concerns that impact our lives. Also at the same time to initiate action at an individual and collective level. In this episode of the Green Echoes, we will be highlighting on the crucial role played by the Regional Office of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change based here in Shillong in combating environment crisis. Let's get to know more in detail about the functioning and the various departments of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and also get to know how they are involved in combating environmental crisis in the Northeast region and the state of Meghalaya. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, MOEFCC, is the main agency of the central government that is responsible for the planning, promotion, coordination and overseeing the implementation of India's environmental and forestry policies and programs. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change also acts as the main contact in India for international environmental organizations like the United Nations Environment Programme UNEP, South Asia Cooperative Environment Programme SACEP and the International Centre for Integrated Mountain Development ICIMOD. It follows up on the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. Additionally, the ministry handles environmental issues related to global groups such as the Commission on Sustainable Development and the Global Environment Facility, as well as regional groups like the Economic and Social Council for Asia and Pacific and the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. The broad objectives of the ministry are conservation and survey of flora, fauna, forest and wildlife, prevention and control of pollution, afforestation and regeneration of degraded areas, protection of the environment, and ensuring the welfare of animals. The headquarters of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change is located in New Delhi, India. The central office is the primary hub for policy formulation, coordination and overall management of the ministry's activities. Besides the headquarters, the MOEFCC also operates through several regional offices across India to decentralize its functions and ensure effective implementation of environmental policies at the state and the local levels. These regional offices facilitate better coordination with state governments, local bodies and other stakeholders. One such regional office of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change is located at Shillong.
So as you know, in our country, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has its headquarters in Delhi. It is headed by the Union Forest Minister and the Secretary Forest and the Director General and Special Secretary to the Government of India at the national level. So this ministry has its regional offices spread all over the country. Several offices for some zones, bigger zones, but for the Northeast, we have only one regional office in Shillong for the entire Northeast. Sikkim was also included under a jurisdiction, but now it has been transferred to the sub-office in Kolkata. So at the moment we have 11 regional offices of the ministry and 9 sub-offices. So the regional office of the ministry for the northeastern region is the office that we're sitting in here in Shillong, and we also have a sub-office based in Guwahati. So the basic, this office has been in existence since 1989, and the main mandate, the core duties of this office is to regulate and monitor the implementation of the Forest Conservation Act and the Environment Protection Act, which also includes the Air and Water Acts and all that. So the Forest Conservation Act is 1980, which has now been revised again in 2023. So we basically look at the conservation and preservation of forest and the maintenance of the ecological balance of the entire country. So when any agency, which we usually call the user agency, they want to make use of a forest land for any purpose, like a highway, a hydropower project, setting up an industry, exploration and development of oil and petroleum sector. So all these are called non-forestry activities. So when any agency makes use of a forest land for such non-forestry activities, they apply to us, and we give them after taking everything into account, we give them the stage 1 approval, which is called the in principle approval, with various conditions which will safeguard the forest and the environment. We ensure that if you are making use of the forest land for a certain non-forestry purpose, like I said, highways, power projects and all that, so we make it a condition that the agency that we call the user agency creates another forest elsewhere over double the area that they're using to compensate for the forest that they're cutting down or submerging to implement their project. So that is one of the main duties for us, is to see that all these conditions that we give in the approval, they are complied to by the state government as well as the user agency. And in the Environment Protection Act of 1986, for all the main duty of my scientists of the environment wing is to see that the conditions that we give in the environmental clearance, like to the cement factories, to the mining industries, and to various other projects. So environment clearance would also come with a list of conditions that the user agency has to comply with. So this deals with the monitoring of air quality, the water quality, their effluent treatment, that is the industrial waste treatment, the sewage water treatment, to ensure that all these effluents and sewage doesn't drain into the nearby rivers, and to ensure that the storage of coal or other materials are done in a proper way so that there's no leaching of chemicals. So all these are taken care of under the environment clearance that my ministry gives to these industries. Besides that, we also, in our conditions, we also ensure that their corporate social responsibility as well as the corporate environmental responsibilities are made good use of, so that the local communities are taken care of, so that the ecological balance of the area that they're working in is not disturbed, so on and so forth. So besides these two core mandates that we have, you are all aware that the Supreme Court has come with a landmark order in the Godavarman case with regards to the conservation of forests in this country. So that has, we have the added responsibility of ensuring that the Supreme Court's orders are complied with. The main thing that we do now here is that we look after the approval of the working scheme and working plans. So this working scheme and working plans are the documents that ensure scientific management of forest. So we will make use of our forest resources, but in such a way that we do not lose it, but that the forest will sustain itself. So it is like cutting down the trees for our various purposes, like timber and other uses, but to ensure that there is still a growing stock available for the use of future generations as well. Under the Supreme Court's order, there's an additional condition that if you are cutting forests, even under this working plan and working schemes, then also the regeneration activities that you will take up should be incommensurate with what you are cutting. So that is an added responsibility given to us because of the Supreme Court's order. Another big responsibility that this court's order has brought about is the movement of timber. Initially, for so many centuries, I can see the forest of the northeast region has been cut by the timber business people, which had almost become a sort of a timber mafia, the timber cartel, which was in fashion till the Supreme Court's order came. And then the Supreme Court set up this committee also, which found out that the actual owners of this forest, the community people, the council people, or those people who were taking care, conserving this forest for centuries together, were not even getting a fraction of the profit that these middlemen were making outside of the region. So the Supreme Court put a blanket ban on the movement of timber from northeast to other parts of the country. And then they said that the timber going out from northeast region should be only value added timber can go out, but no round logs can go out from the region to other parts of the country. And that too, the Supreme Court said it cannot be transported by trucks. It has to go by the railways. After getting due approval from that time, there was a special investigation team and the high-powered committee. So after getting approval from the SIT and the HPC, then only this value-added timber from northeast can move to other parts of the country through railways. So now that power has been now delegated to us, so I am heading a committee called the Regulatory Committee for Timber Transportation, and usually every quarter we collect and compile all the applications for transportation of timber from northeast to the other parts of India, from all the 7 states of the northeast. Then the committee, of which I am the chairman, we have members from the railways and 2 nominated members, 2 members nominated by the state government, which is in rotation. Alphabetically we go, so two members from the state forest departments are there. And then we call the PCCF HOFs of those states who are applying for the movement of this timber. So that is how this regulatory committee is still now, till today, regulating the movement of timber from northeast to the rest of the country. And additionally, we are also a part of that NGT constituted committee. So everyone knows that the red coal mining in Meghalaya has been banned by an order of the Honorable Court, NGT, since 2014. And the NGT had constituted a committee to ensure that the reclamation process takes place, to ensure that assessment and impact of the coal mining on in the region is assessed, and that we come up with a plan to reclaim and restore this land and rivers impacted by the acid mine drainage because of coal mining. We also have all these air purifying plants all over in our office, and we see that we are practicing the various environment-friendly lifestyle. And since last year, the mission life, which means the lifestyle for environment, has come about, and our office, we are promoting this lifestyle for environment among the church members, with the community members, with students, and with the public in general. Office jongi kadai bayadai but ka office ka badan hapo New Delhi tingiro ngidai ka central government ngimdai ka state government but ngi pet de kiwe ki kam ban bapet ki na state te nga kwa banya thoi fi ba ka kam jong kani ka office jonga bangi khot ka regional office Shillong namar ba barok ko we ka India ni don khat wai tili ki regional office but khandai tili ki sub office tingi pet ya kani ka regional office Shillong bapet ya ki state Manipur Mizoram Meghalaya Tripura te ka sub office pade ba don ha Guwahati ni ya pet ya ka Arunachal ni pet ya ka Assam bat ka Nagaland te ki kam jongi pade ki longkum ni Ningkong ni ai ka forest clearance but ka environmental clearance ka forest clearance kadai ba hakanu kunu ka jakka hakani ka baki ong ka north east India daki kwa ban tre kam hapo ka forest te kila ban wan saka office chongi la kadai ka project ba dei haka ne kabor lag kum ki hydroelectric project ki surok te ki kam baro ba don kam namar ba ka north east chongi ka he bha ki klau te khlem pendon kam ka klau ki numla banwanra ta ka development mla ba kin num long ba kinumla ban chu e ya ki breu tang ba ki don ki klau bam na ot sho tang ba ka office chongi pade ka yad kat kum ka rule ka guideline bashna kata ka ka Forest Conservation Act 1980 bangi la revise kala poi revision how arhajar arpulai 2023 te kat ba kwa bandon kam ya kata ka forest lani ka klau kila banwanra kata ka application jongki katno ki kwa kum ki hydel electric project te kala kham hai kin don kam hado ki arphau ne arpsan hekte kiwe ki drinking water ne ki e perate ki tu ki jongka teng tang si hekter te kat kum ka rule pade ki dei ban seo arteli kawai ki dei ban thong deng arsha yakaba kinshim but ki dei tat ban seo kata ka net present value kumba la yatho ka Supreme Court te kata ka compensatory afforestation ki pen khen na po State Forest Department but ya kata ka net present value ru ki ya khen na po state government ki wanchane ngi pen da ki biang te ngi ai de ki we condition te ngi pelat ya ki yo ka first stage kabangi khot ka in principle approval but da kila adapt selot ta kapisa ki state ki don ki we condition kumba penshna ka boundary pillar banginum klet bakade ka forest land namarba hadu hadien ru ka jakarta ka dei hi jong ka forest te kata ka dei phangka forest conservation act bangi ai ka forest clearance te ka wei pede ki trei ki scientist hapo ka office jongi ki penpet ya ka environmental protection act 1986 kata kadai namta ki industry ki wei kum ki limestone industry bashna cement ne ka coal mining ne ki wei ki jat industry ba pen don kam wat ki restaurant ki ba pen mi jabo naka dukan jong ki shadow ki ba he do ki industry ki hapek as per the Environmental Protection Act 1986 yaka air quality but yaka water quality kamot kala air but ka tingi yaka taru ngi apen ki yad kumta te kawai pede kabalai kadai ki working plan working scheme bangishna kani ka plan
scheme kadai namta jongi bro kawai ka North East hi ngi penchna kat kum ka jaka ba don kiding te kum ba laia tho I ba he hak ka office jongi ngi penyat yakini daka science namar ba ka cloud himla ban chu ot pinda ot lot barok hot ka sasneu tingi penyat hak rukom ba ki ba la he kiding ki bangila ban pom no tingi pom khnang ba kindup yo pendon kam ki breu yaki ding namar kataru kadai ka wei ka jingdon kam jong ki breu brok ka wei tingi penpet lem hapo North East yaki taki plan ki scheme te ngakwa banya tho efiru spang ka forest clearance namar ba haka office jongi kana kani ka forest clearance kamot ka jing bit bangi yo ban rung hapo klau ban terei hak klau tikani kadai ka kam ka bangi kadai ka ba he tam ka kam haka office jongi ba kadai number 1 lani fila ban ong ba kadai ka ba ningkong ningshap ka kam tingi ay ki breu lani ki department kum ki PHE ngi sha ai ki ban penyat yaki pipe mo ban wanra na kawai ke jaka ngi sha yakani ki department ka borlat ban ra ka transmission line na kawai ke jaka ngi ai lat bakin pendan kam tangba ngi kumbang ong ning kong ngi shempisa kawai ke dei bangin thau shu ka khlau sa kawai pe ka jaka shu ong po hectare ne pinda kenda ka ekaru kat kum ka bakishim arsha yakata ni kenda ka pisa bangin pin thong kiding hado posnam te kadon bat kata kat kum baka ong ka Supreme Court bangin di banshim kata ka net present value namar ngi ken kat no kanika klau kala ban pinmi pisa da dei bangi claim ot yaka namar ba mla ban thau bet da kapisa ningkong ngi ha perkhat kat no ka jing bha ka la ka pen long kani ka cloud dam don ka cloud ngi mla ta man persat man semru ti kita ki aka tang ba ngi la pen kala no kapisa tang ba kani ka pisa mdei ba ngi ai ka central government ka pendan kam yala de kam dei kumta ngidashna daki annual plan of operation kata ka APO ya bar hot ki state yakini ki hinno state bang ong fi bak office jongi ka pen ngi pen shna ngi pen tikila ban pen don kam hakapor ba meeting namar ba bon ki khlau ha kapor ba kam slam ka meeting te teng teng hado ki yeng bat ki aka ru kapor ka kani ka ding te ka penjenjar yaki breu barak hot te hakata ka annual plan of operation nila ban shna yaki tang nila ban ayaki ban thongdeng bat bon ki aka nakakampa te hakani ka Forest Conservation Act ru ngi don kata ka committee bakarteng ka Regional Empowered Committee tikat kumbangi shong meeting ni don ki officers jongi ki ba dei ki All India Service mangi ki IFS haka office jongi ni don laingun tingi don de so laingun kita ki non official member ki ba ka thung ka center hi mo ya kata ka committee ti kata ka committee man ba kawan kata ka application ban pendan kam ya ka cloud ngiru ngia shong ngia pet ki state ki ayangi baki kwa banle mitigation measures kita ki de ki bon ki aka ba ban pet baka lom kamhap ban thong deng hakata ka lom hakata ka rukom bandashna surak ru kalom kanom hap halor ki kali tiki don kam palat banle kumta tiki we ru kita ki mitigation measures ki dei bangi pen ai awareness ki breu ngishna yaki biodiversity park bakin one pet ki breu ke ai kata ki ni pen ne yaki jat peki jat ki kembat kum ki kembat ba pendon kam ki khasi ban le ki dawai kum kita ki medicinal plants ki dawai kembat kita barak hot ru ngibo haka biodiversity park tikini ru ngihap seo ngihap ai kum sao phau lak tikidon namta ki merat barak hot kidon kam kataka wildlife mitigation kum ki jaka ha Assam hajan ki Kaziranga ki rhino ki hati ki ya tingiro yaki namta jong ki ngipo ki mitigation plan ki wildlife management plan kenang ba ki breu ru kin yo ki dingso ki yo ru ki forest department ki pen ki department lo cloud ki thong ki kat ki thong ki dingso jat piki jat bakin yo bam ki merat haden pada ki jaka haba don crossing ni pen shna kum ki koridor ngimsha yaki kali banyak stat te ngi pen yat suki ngi bo da ki speed breaker shibon ngi perkhat phang ki merat ro tingi yale yakata tinaka forest conservation act ngiyo ka taka jingmentoy mndei tang yangi ki breu cement tamba yaki khlau ki petap bat ki merat ro ngi hangni haka office jongi ngi ha perkhat yakata damar ba kamay ram au jongi kala jular hado kata bakanum don ka office forest and climate change jongi ngin sa jenjar la saisi ngin sa jenjar ka ngin sa jenjar kata ka jing persat mensem kawai gasngi kansawan ka namsneo te ni kat kumba pelat na ka central government ni hap yale ban pen do kata bat bangin wanra ya ka jingkalla kum kata ka baki ti dewyong bangin di pen khot biang ya ki kini ki wa ni pen khot iki jaka khnang ba ki khon jongi kinumyo I kata bat kan duk yat bet ka jingem.
One of the key initiatives of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has been Mission Life. Mission Life strives to mobilize 1 billion Indians and global citizens to actively participate in individual and collective actions for environmental protection and conservation from 2022 to 2028. Domestically, the mission targets making at least 80% of all villages and urban local bodies in India environmentally sustainable by 2028.
First of all, this is the regional office of the ministry. So we are working on behalf of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So as a ministry, we have two parts, the forest and the environment part. The forest part, we have 2-3 important mandate that we have. The first of which is the forest clearance. So we normally give the forest clearance of projects which a forest land is being used for any non-forestry purpose. If such land which are identified as forest are to be used for any development work, then that permission comes from our office. We give the forest clearance. So for that, it is given under an act of the central government called the Forest Conservation Act. And under this act, there is a process, there's an online process. And if one wants to use that land, so there is a lot of steps. It has to go through the state machinery. When the proposal is recommended by the state government, then it comes to our office, after which we give the approval. So in the process, it depends on the type of projects. All linear projects, roads, transmission lines, these are crucial, important development projects of the country. So these are dealt with here. all other projects which are more than 40 hectares or mining or those which involve violation, those are approved by the central government in Delhi. So we have this part, and just to inform you about the process in which we do, we have a way in which a methodology in which up to 5 hectares, this office at the level of the DDG approves it, between 5 to 40, or for all other projects, for all linear projects of cost of any extent. This is done through what we call the Regional Empowered Committee. This is again headed by the Deputy Director General of this office, of which I am the member secretary. So we process that and we give the approval. So in order to compensate and offset that loss of forest cover, the loss of the ecosystem services, so this we have a process by which we have a compensatory afforestation, that an equal or at least double the graded forest land or an equal non-forest land is to be developed as forest to compensate the loss. And of course, to compensate for the ecosystem services, we have the net present value. The net present value of that land, which was on earlier under the forestry land use, is now being put into some other land use. So those are the offsetting measures that we have as part of the approval. Now, apart from that, what I'd like to touch upon is the use of forest and how the forest is to be managed. All forests are to be scientifically managed. This is according to the Honorable Supreme Court in the Godavarman case in the order of 15th January 1998, which requires all kinds of forests, not only the government forest. Even the private forest, the community forest are to be managed scientifically. Now, to do that, we have a scheme in which state governments, of course, they have been doing this over the years, and they have the mechanism. And now when it comes to the community forests, the clan forests, private forest, how did you do that? So in Meghalaya at least, and in all the states, these individuals or the communities apply to the district council. District council then makes an application to the state working plan officer, and the district council helps in other ways, and the plan is actually being prepared through the working plan officer of the state. And this is a very important scheme that we have. I mean, it's a very important measure that the Honorable Supreme Court has put to check this unscrupulous felling that we have. Unfortunately, it takes a lot of initiative from the part of the community and the part of the individuals to come forward, because this will take time. But it's very important that we note that in spite of the fact that it may take some time, the principle which is applied here is that if you have any resource, you should use the resource only to the extent that is sustainably available to us, right? So if we have a forest actually grows. So instead of cutting the whole of the forest, you cut only the increment, the annual increment that is being put on by the forest. It's like when you have money, you have a huge amount of money, and you put in the bank, so you don't use it. You know, it's like a corpus where you use only the interest of it, and keep that corpus, that fund, that principle with you. And this is the principle that is being applied here, which I am very thankful for some of the big chunks of forest, and those people who have large tracts of forest have come forward. And we would like maybe in another session to show you, in fact, practically what is done and what's being done. So that is another, which is how do forests to be worked, and this is what we are doing from this office. We also have policy matters with regards to the regulation and monitoring of the wood-based industries. So we have plywood industries, we have sawmills, we have forest-based finished products, manufacturing units. So these also, of course, the overall day-to-day monitoring is done by the state government, but the policy level, like when a sawmill is to be established, a proper sawmill is to be established, and it has to be done through a committee of which we are a member. Where it's to be established, there has to be an industrial estate. So those are the matters that we also look into. And I think this year's World Environment Day, of course, this whole decade, which is a decade of ecosystem restoration of the United Nations, and this year's slogan of our land, our future is so crucial to us, because if the land is to be used properly, and the best land use is a sustainable land use, of which include not only development but also the sustainable use of that land. We have been seeing so many things happening around us. We have seen so many devastations, and I think that if we are in a position to understand the importance of a land, for us tribals, land is so important. I mean, we fight for land, we're the people who are ready to give their lives for land. And I think not only just to have ownership of it, but to have stewardship of it, the right kind of stewardship of it. And especially for those who have, large chunks of land, if they come forward, because desertification is very much there. Even, I have traveled many areas all over the country. In fact, people are very surprised that Sora requires, tankers and people, going for kilometers to fetch water, which is a very unfortunate thing. And though we may not think of desertification, but definitely a kind of a man-made drought is always there, and it's a recurring thing. So definitely, if there is any land use to be, which the land is put to the best use, and I think forest and a sustainable, systematically managed land use should be thought of. So finally, I would say that land is very important, and we all need development. We all need to use that land for our purpose. But as Gandhi said, the world has enough for every man's need, but not for every man's greed. And it's very important that whatever with the land that we put into use, we put it in a way that that is sustainable, in a way that we allow other life forms to also use that land. I mean, look at the way we are, harvesting or felling trees. There's no need for everybody to cut everything, even seedlings and saplings and small poles. If only we can think of using it in a manner in which would benefit ourselves only, that we can go back into that forest, and maybe after 5 years, if we cut only those trees which are matured, which you'll get a very good price for, and not allow the contractor. Of course, not everybody can do it themselves. They'll use the contractor and they'll hire some people, but instruct it in a proper manner. Tell them in a proper manner that this is the number of trees that we need. We just make it used for what we need, not just because it's there. We have to cut everything. And my appeal would be that let's use our resources, but let us use it judiciously, thoughtfully, not only for our benefit, but also for the benefit of, or for the to the point that it's available to our future generation as well.
This office is a regional office of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The main mandate here, we have two sections. We have the forestry section, and the second one is the environment section. The forestry side is dealt by the IFS officer, and the environment section is dealt by the scientists. I'm one of the scientists, and within this environment section, we look after what we call the EP Act, Environmental Protection Act. In this Environmental Protection Act, there are various activities. The main mandate pertaining to the scientists is to look after the project which has been accorded environmental clearance under the EIA notification 2006. EIA notification 2006, it specifies the activities which is listed in its schedule. All those activities which has been listed in its schedule, it requires prior environmental clearance. The environmental clearance for those activities depend on the quantum of the activity or the production of the project. Suppose for the mining, if the mining, the project area is more than 50 hectares, then it falls under the A categories. A categories, it requires the environmental clearance from the MOEFCC New Delhi. Below 50 hectares, it requires the environmental clearance from the State Environmental Impact Assessment Authority, we call short SIA. So that is the basic. So all those activities which is listed in the schedule of the IA notification require prior environmental clearance. But for those activities which is not listed in the EIA notification but have impacts on air, on water, those activities fall under the jurisdiction of the State Pollution Control Board. So in the state of Meghalaya, we have majority of the activity, the project which have received environmental clearance ranges from the cement plant, the limestone mining, the stone boulder, the construction building like the big hotel. We have here one EC for the hotel which is there in the Police Bazaar. Then other activity like the ferroalloy plant. So the mandate of the scientists after these two authorities, MOEFCC New Delhi and SIA, have given the environmental clearance, our main mandate is to go and visit those projects, because in that environmental clearance there are a set of conditions where the project proponent has to comply. So we went to the site, we do the monitoring, we check each and every condition which is listed in the environmental clearance. After we come back from the site, we prepare a report, we submit the report to the concerned authority. If it is A category, we submit to MOEFCC New Delhi. If it is a B category, we submit to SIA. I want to add one more thing, the jurisdiction of this regional office. Now we cover into 4 states, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Manipur and Tripura. This is the main mandate, monitoring of those projects which have received environmental clearance. Besides that, we have also the activities which have been given by us by the Honorable Green Tribunal. As we are aware, recently here in Meghalaya, coal mining has been banned by the Honorable NGT in the year 2014. The basis of banning the coal mining is due to the impact on the environment, particularly on the water bodies. This is the basis why the NGT has banned. When it impacted the water bodies, it became unsuitable for the people who live there to consume it, and also it is not suitable for any aquatic bodies which live there to survive. So this is the basis why the Honorable Court has banned it. During the hearing and in the order, when the court banned, it's not simply banning like that. It has constituted a committee to take up some reclamation work. Initially, it was a 3-man committee headed by Justice B.P. Gataki. After that, after the court has closed the case and given its final order, it has constituted another committee, that is the Oversight Committee. It is a 12-member committee, and this office functions as the member secretary. Under the court direction, the committee has to oversee the implementation of the reclamation work, to see that the banning of the coal mining using the traditional rat hole mining is implemented, and to also to oversee all those activities which are associated with the fuel mining in the state of Meghalaya. So what the committee, the oversight committee has done, it has carried out a number of projects ranging from providing the safe drinking water to the local people. It has also carried out what we call as the afforestation. Through the forest department, the afforestation work has already been completed in 464.24 hectare areas. Then, beside that, the committee have also recommended a project for what we call as the FICO remediation method of those river and stream which have been affected by the coal mining. FICO remediation project is for the treatment of the pH. When we talk about water, we talk about the pH. I think as you are aware, pH 7 is the range where the water is perfect for drinking purposes. What happened in this river and stream in its Janti Hill which are affected by coal mining? You will find the pH of the water, it range from 2.5 to below 5. So this technology using FICO remediation, it improved the pH of the water. This FICO remediation project has been selected in the two streams in the East Janti Hills. One is the Karhukla River and the second one is Lunar River. These two streams, they are completely dead in terms of the water quality. The pH, it range from 2.5 to 4.7. Why this river, the pH is so low? Because they are continuously pumped by this acid mine drainage. Acid mine drainage, where there are number of abandoned mine and also active mine in the nearby area. So that how this river are affected. Besides the FICO remediation project, the oversight committee have also sanctioned money for 6 vehicles mounted with water tank for providing safe drinking water for the people living in those projects affected by the coal mining. Besides that, the committee have also sanctioned some money for raising of the nursery bed to the forest department. Some research project has been sanctioned to the NISAC, Northeastern Space Umyam. They have also sanctioned some project to PHE, Chief Engineer, for restoration of Wa Karam stream at Soshang village. The committee have also sanctioned some amount for rooftop rain harvesting structure in 10 villages covering the entire state of Meghalaya and Sri district. It has also sanctioned a research project to RFRI Jorhat for restoration of degraded coal mine land in Meghalaya through soil amendment and microbial technology. The regional office of Ministry of Environment and Forests play a very important role when it comes to the issue of conserving the environment. As we are aware, many project proponents have received the environmental clearances. In the environmental clearance, there are a number of conditions. One point you have to note is that when anybody start a business, the first aim is to have a profit. So implementing the condition imposed in the EC condition is also involved cost. So there lies the role of the scientists. We insist them that you are bound to implement those conditions, and at any cost you should not compromise that your activities will result into the pollution and the destruction of the environment. So our office from that angle play a very important role. We also have a licensing with different organizations, the state government department, and also the public in general, where we keep them awareness how to go with their activities scientifically. So this is what I want to sum up, how this office has played as a very important role in conserving the environment.
LIFE, L-I-F-E, or Lifestyle for Environment, embodies a call for action for individuals and communities worldwide. Introduced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at COP26 in Glasgow, LIFE advocates for mindful consumption to protect and preserve the environment. It seeks to inspire a global movement towards an environmentally conscious lifestyle, where sustainable practices are integrated in everyday living. Participants in LIFE are recognized as pro-planet people committed to practices that harmonize with nature, promoting a sustainable future for generations to come.
Talking about the mission LIFE, which is Lifestyle for Environment, our office, including the rest of the regional offices in the country, we have to facilitate and look after implementation of the mission LIFE activities that have been given out, proposed by the ministry at New Delhi as the headquarter. The mission LIFE, as an introduction, it was first introduced at a COP26. This is a conference of parties, which is a United Nations climate change conference. It was introduced on the 1st November 2021. It is basically an India-led global mass movement that nudges for mindful and deliberate utilization instead of mindless and destructive consumption in order to protect and preserve the environment. A little bit regarding the concept of mission LIFE. All around the world, we are now experiencing the drastic effects of climate change. And it has been studied and found that the climate change induced by human activities is a consequence of more than 100 years of net greenhouse gas emissions. And they come as a result from unsustainable lifestyle and unsustainable patterns of consumption and distribution. So mission LIFE, it calls for individual and collective action to protect and preserve the environment, by adopting environment-friendly lifestyles in our daily lives. The mission LIFE, it comes to our doorstep. The fight against the climate change through mission LIFE comes to our doorstep. It makes the fight against climate change democratic, in the sense that each and every one of us at the individual level, we can contribute in this fight, but within our own capacity, by carrying out these very simple, basic, life-changing actions in our daily lives. And so the mission LIFE as a whole, it aims to nudge the individuals and the communities to practice the simple environment-friendly actions in their daily lives, and in such a way that such lifestyles can coexist with nature and does not harm it. And those people who practice this kind of lifestyle, they are recognized as the pro-planet people, 3 Ps. So under mission LIFE, there are 7 themes which focus on a diverse range of areas that are essential to creating a more sustainable lifestyle. And these 7 themes are: save water, save energy, reduce waste, reduce e-waste, adopt healthy lifestyle, adopt sustainable food systems, and reduce single-use plastics. The vision of Mission Life and its 7 themes, they align with the multiple SDGs. These are the Sustainable Development Goals formulated by the United Nations. They are considered as the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. So the themes of Mission Lives, they align and intersect with the several SDGs. So just to mention a few of the action points, under the 7 life themes, we can think about simple life activity, basic activities like to not keep the water running, the tap water running, or to use LED bulbs instead. Then instead of just throwing the kitchen waste, we can use this as a compost, and it will help us also go towards adopt healthy lifestyle by growing the medicinal plants or medicinal herbs in our own garden, which can be organic one. So these are various few the Mission Life action points, and we can also focuses on using cloth bag or jute bag instead of plastic bags for shopping or marketing. And another point is that we can use buckets instead of hose pipes to clean the car, to water the plants. So these are various simple practices that we do it in our daily lives, so which we can do it consciously by adopting these life-friendly activities. So as a conclusion for this short introductory session, I would say that Mission Life is a people's movement, and every individual has a role to play. The government agencies and institutions alone cannot make it successful. So we would all like to call upon individuals to adopt the life actions in our daily life, and not just adopting them, but to promote them, tell about them to your families, to your friends, relatives, making them aware of these life actions for protection of the environment and the mitigation of the climate change impacts.
And with that, we have come to the end of this episode of Green Echoes. I hope you found it a very insightful and a very interesting episode in which we got to know about the operations and the functioning of the Regional Office of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change right here in Shillong, and what an important role they're playing towards combating environment crisis. Well, on that note, this is Nicholas J. Karnami signing out from this episode, and yes, kindly don't forget to like, subscribe and comment on our YouTube channel, and subscribe to this channel and share your thoughts about what all would you like to be included and to be highlighted in this program of ours, Green Echoes. This is Nicholas J. Karnami along with the team signing out for now, and this is a call to each and everyone out there that let us all join together to not only just think green but to act now.